What's up, guys and gals? It's me, your old buddy Mr. Moose, back with another edition of Air Hauler 2. Now, today we're going to do something a little bit different. I'm not going to actually fly any flights today. We're going to focus more on Air Hauler 2 and a little bit of the company management side of the program. For those of you guys who might be thinking about jumping into the game and not really understanding it, because let's be honest, there's no manual that comes with this game. It's in early access, it's changing constantly, and they haven't written any kind of manual other than a quick start guide. So to figure this stuff out, it's really just trial and error. So what I've done over the last 30 days is I've been playing about 3 accounts. I've got my master account that I started out in career mode that you guys have seen me fly on, and I'm building my company from the ground up. But at the same time, I've been sort of playing like a medium account and a hard account, doing little bits of this and that to try and figure out how to do the rest of the game. So when my career account gets up to the point where I can hire employees and lease aircraft and things like that, I actually know what I'm doing and I'm not going to make a whole bunch of stupid mistakes. So today I'm going to share some of the information that I've learned along the way over the past 30 days and maybe help you out a little bit. So the thing that we're going to do today is I'm going to create a new account. And I'm going to walk you through a couple of little early things to do in the game so that you don't make some of the mistakes that I've already made. So the first thing we want to do is I'm going to set up my new account. I'm going to set it up for Flight Sim. I'm going to call this Test. My pilot's going to be called Tester. And his proper name, we'll just call him Mr. Tester. No need to get really creative on all this stuff because this account will get deleted right after I do this information. All right, so we're going to start in hard mode. Why not? It's just a step above insane. So we'll go ahead and do that, and we'll get started. Choose an airport. I'm going to use the same airport that we've been using, Kilo Juliet Kilo Alpha, and we'll go ahead and set that up. Yep, and I'm going to set up network and ignore water. Ignore water hasn't been working for me that well. I've been getting a lot of water runways show up in my jobs list. Make sure when you take a job that you always verify your runways before you actually accept it, because I've been getting a lot of really good looking jobs. Go look at the runways and it turns out it's going to a water runway. But I still check mark that. I've written the developer and let him know that I'm having issues with it. Short doesn't have any issues with it, but I sure do. Also, network mode. When I initially started out, I did not use network mode. I am using network mode now because it makes it a little bit simpler for starting your game up. Whether you're using prepared or you're using flight sim, if you're in network mode, you can just go ahead and have your flight sim or whatever it is up and running. You can do everything in Air Hauler, then you just hit OK, and then you go in and you fly. Whereas if you don't have it in network mode, Air Hauler wants to launch your flight sim as soon as you get ready to take a flight, and sometimes it can be a little glitchy. So I usually run it in network mode. It makes things a lot easier. And if you're one of these people who's really invested into flight sim and you like run your simulator on one computer, but you run all your add-ons on another computer, it just works a little bit better for you if you run it in network mode. So on the job creations options, a lot of this stuff is pretty obvious. Job volume is the amount of jobs that you get. Distance is how long the routes are. Size has to do with how much cargo that you're actually going to have to put on a plane. Internal jobs, though, a lot of people didn't understand what this is. Internal jobs is when you create bases. That's how many jobs that are going to be base-to-base jobs. So let's say you have a base in Nashville, and then you have another base in Charlotte, and then you have another base maybe in Baltimore or whatever. And you want more jobs that go between those bases, not off into the middle of nowhere. You can increase this slider and it will give you more of those base-to-base jobs versus jobs that just fly out somewhere into middle America and you don't know how you're going to get back to your base. If you do the internal jobs, you can jump from each base and likely they'll have jobs coming back to your other base. So that's pretty obvious. Airport size, I leave it's smaller, but eventually down the road you might want to move it up a notch just to get some of these really small airports out of your roster. Like I'm still on my main account, I'm still getting like these 1,800 foot grass runways that are just a nightmare to try to land on, and to get rid of those you might want to bump that up a couple of notches and get it off your list. All right, so that account is ready to get started and ready to roll. It's going to generate it. Now, the first thing, of course, it's going to ask me to do is get type rated. I am not going to get type rated. I'm going to do what I like to consider tycoon mode, or basically company manager mode. I've been running an account like this now for about 30 days, and I've yet to fly a single flight on it, and it's got like 4 employees, lots of planes. It's really nice, and it's really helped me out to learn a lot of the little things about the game. So that's sort of how I'm going to do this today. We're going to jump into company information. You're going to see in our fleet we have a Cessna Skyhawk, but we're going to get rid of that pretty quick. The first thing I want to do is, since I'm going to go buy a new plane, I want to jump in the marketplace. And it's very important before you jump out and go, you know what, I'm going to buy this plane and I'm going to put a pilot in it. Stop. Take a deep breath. Come in here and look at your pilots first. You may not have a pilot that can fly that plane. So let's look at our pilots and see who we have available. You can see that we have Layla, and she is rated on the Cessna, but she's also rated on the Comanche, but she's not rated on any of the other planes that I might want to fly. And then we have Sky, who is rated on the Skyhawks. Also rated on the Mooney Bravo, rated on the Chieftain, rated on the Cargo Master. That's good, and a few other planes. But wow, quite expensive. $12,000 a month. Really going to push your overhead, but that's really not that big a deal. $12,000 I can make in a day with a good pilot. So we're going to go ahead and hire Sky. That's going to be our pilot, because what we're going to do is we're going to go get ourselves a Chieftain. So we'll go ahead and hire our pilot, and we'll end up putting Sky to work. We'll check our private sales, see if there's any cheap aircraft. There's not really anything I'm interested in. And then I'm going to go ahead and come over here to the aircraft section, and we're going to lease an aircraft because we don't have a ton of money right now. We don't have enough to just go right out and buy some planes. So we'll go ahead and lease it, save ourselves a little bit of money. What I'm looking for is the Chieftain. The Chieftain is a really great value. It has a pretty decent range of 800 nautical miles, and it can hold a ton of cargo on it. It's rated at 1574, but let's be honest, if you don't put a ton of fuel in it, you can put almost 2,000 pounds of cargo in it. So I like the Chieftain. It's a good plane to get, so I'm going to lease it. Now the Chieftain is a payware program. I got this from Coronado, so it's not going to be in there for you, but it's going to be one that I'm using. You can lease whatever other plane that you might want to do. You could go and get the 208 Cargo Master and use it, but again, I'm just going to be using the Chieftain because it's a payware plane that I have and I really like it. So the way that a lease works is you have a down payment that you have to put down, or a deposit. This case it's $70,544, and then I have a monthly rental. So every month I've got to pay the owner of this plane $31,353. So I got to make at least that much to pay the plane every month. So we'll go ahead and say yes. That has been leased. We're going to set it up for cargo, and we'll go ahead and set that to Gulf Shores. Now, there's a little bit of an argument in the game as to how to set your planes up. And some people will say, the purist will say, you either set your plane up to be a passenger airline or you set it up to be a cargo airline. If it's a passenger airline, you can only haul passengers on it. If it's a cargo plane, you can only haul cargo on it, or at least that's the way the game assigns it to you. Now, there are people who have found ways to exploit the game a little bit and work around that. The game, again, sets it up to where if your plane is set up for cargo, you can only assign cargo to it. If it's set up for passenger, you can only set passengers to it. But there, like I said, there is a workaround where you can go into company info, go to fleet. You can actually take a cargo job and manually load it onto a plane and then set it up as a passenger flight where it flies passenger and cargo. For me, that's an exploit in the game, because early on in the game with a Skyhawk, let's talk about a Skyhawk here that only has a limited cargo capacity of 508 pounds. If I load 3 passengers up on that and they bring their baggage, that's pretty much going to weigh down that Skyhawk. And I'm not going to be able to haul cargo on it. So to me, it's a little unrealistic to say I'm going to put three passengers on here, and I'm going to charge them. And oh, by the way, I'm also going to put 200 pounds of sheep in the back of it. I mean, really, what three people? Where are you going to fit 3 sheep, or where are you going to put 200 pounds of sheep in a plane? And oh, by the way, these 3 paying passengers are going to have to sit right next to them. What are we, flying out of Guatemala? I mean, come on, let's be realistic about it. Okay, we're going to haul CDs. Okay, what are you going to ask grandma to carry them in her lap while she's flying on an airplane? It's just a little unrealistic early in the beginning to say, okay, you're going to fly a Skyhawk and you're going to have 3 passengers in there, and each passenger weighs on average, the game says 170, but come on, we know that people don't really weigh 170 on average. I mean, look around. Go to McDonald's and look at the people there. They don't weigh 170 on average. But anyways, you put 3 people in there at 170 pounds plus your pilot's weight, and then darling Susie is not coming with a little duffel bag with a change of clothes in it. She's coming with a kitchen sink, and she's going to throw all that cargo in the back of your plane, all her baggage into the plane. You just aren't going to have the room to haul cargo. Okay. Oh, well, I'm going to fly cargo out, but passengers back in. Really? You just flew 500 pounds of sheep who pooped in your aircraft. You're going to turn around and haul passengers back? Yeah, they're going to love that experience. So I play on I really play in that whole category of early on, passengers go on passenger planes, cargo go on cargo planes. And that's sort of the way I play it. And that's the way I look at it. If you want to play it a different way, knock yourself out, but don't belittle me for the way I play. All right. Anyways, with that said, I've got my Chieftain now. I've got a pilot for it. So we're going to assign it a job and we're going to have it fly. We'll go to cargo, we'll go to jobs, and much like me trying to find a job for myself to go somewhere, I look through the whole thing and I try to find some jobs and assign that job and go fly it. So if I look at distance and I look for jobs that turn around and fly, to a general area and back, we'll look for something that can make us a little bit of money and maybe we can turn around and come right back from it. We got some poultry here that is $8,000, and then at the same time we got some soft drinks going to the exact same location, and that's going to make another $1,700. Where does that fly to? That's 199 miles out. If I look at the map on that, it is going way over here to Thomasville in Georgia. Let's look at this route out of Tallahassee. That's outgoing, that's not incoming. Let's look at this OJ6. That's an outgoing flight as well. That's a bummer. I'd like to take that flight, but I have a feeling I'm going to get out there and I'm not going to have a way to get back. Let's look. OF. All right, well that's kind of incoming back in. Incoming to us. Wait, no, incoming from them to us of baby toys. It's not that much, but that'll work. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and set up my pilot to fly this route here. I've got 2 jobs here that are going out to this one location. Now, you got to be careful if you got cargo going to 2 locations, how you assign the job. You can either assign it straight to the AI and let them take that job, but they're not real smart. They sometimes make stupid mistakes. An intuitive, smart person would say, if I assigned you this job and this job, would say, oh, look, both of these are at this airport. I'm going to load all that cargo up, put it on the plane. I'm going to fly out to this destination. Sometimes the AI will leave part of your cargo on the dock and you'll be really frustrated with them. So the way I like to do it is I'll go ahead and accept each of these jobs. All right, both of those jobs are accepted. Then I'm going to come over here to company info, go to fleet, and then I'm going to select the Chieftain. That's what I want to fly the cargo on. And I'm going to go to load, unload cargo, and I'm going to manually put that cargo on that plane. With the cargo now placed on the plane, Then I can either tell the AI to position the aircraft to its destination, or I can just tell it to go there by reassigning the job to them. But I'm going to position. So what I'm going to do is, once again, I'm going to look at the jobs that I accepted. The airport that we're going to is KTVI. So I'm going to go under company info again. Fleet. I'm going to go to the Chieftain. I'm going to say position the aircraft. And I'm going to say KTVI. Not VO, VI. Thomasville. I'm going to select that. Use selected. And I'm going to tell Sky to fly that aircraft. All right. Now with the aircraft running, if I go to pilot and I update Sky by refreshing, it should show that she is positioning that aircraft at some point. If I look at assigned jobs, it does show that it doesn't show any information down here, but it does show that she's got a job to do. And we both know that that job is to position that aircraft. So at some point she should get in there. There we go. Sky Hall positioning to KTVI in the Chieftain. So what she's going to do is she's going to fly that Chieftain over there to that aircraft. And once she gets there, she's going to unload it. Now I'm going to give her a second job as well. I'm going to do it a little bit different. I want her to come back to this aircraft or to this place, and I want her to pick up this load when she's finished with that. Now, all I'm going to do on this one is I'm just going to assign this load to her, because I know that she's only got to pick up one thing here. I don't have to worry about her leaving any kind of cargo behind. So I'll just say assign to the AI. I'm going to assign again to the Chieftain. And that job has been assigned to the Chieftain. So now what she's going to do is she's going to fly out here to KTVI, unload her cargo, fly back over here to this airport, pick up the baby toys, and then fly back into base, making a complete loop. Now the cool thing is, if you look at your expire times and make sure that you're doing jobs that don't expire within the next 24 or 48 hours, you can sit here and plan out multiple routes for your AI to do by just doing that exact same thing. So I can come back here to my base airport. I can look at the jobs. I can right click. I've found that it's easier sometimes to right click and then select the base. I can come back and once again go through here, look at my distances, and see if I can find any jobs that are right next to each other that I can fly out here and do real quick. Sometimes it's easiest just to look at, that's radios, and that's out from my airport. That is out from there back to the airport. So you know what? I'm going to assign this job. So I really don't care about the weights. I'm just going to give them work to do. So I'm going to accept this job for the AI. And basically the way the pilot works is the pilot works down the jobs in the list of order that you give it to them. So I'm going to assign the job for them to fly from my airport out to this airport with 438 pounds of cargo. I'm going to assign that again to the Chieftain. And then I'm going to have it come over to this airport, pick up another load, and bring it right back. And again, I'm not worrying about how much cargo they're picking up, because it's only one load that they're picking up, and it's small loads. You do have to take in one thing of consideration when you're positioning aircraft and when you're assigning loads. The one thing I have come to realize is that a pilot they'll put fuel on a plane, but they won't take fuel off of a plane. In other words, if I put 500 pounds of merchandise on a plane to fly out and the plane's bone dry on fuel, the pilot will fly in, they'll put the cargo on, and then they'll put fuel on so they can do the job. But if I schedule the Chieftain to carry 1,600 pounds of cargo and it's fully loaded, that's too much cargo for a fully loaded plane. But if it's only going 300 nautical miles, I would take some of the fuel off, put the entire load of cargo on, and then just have enough fuel to get me to the destination and back, right? The AI won't do that. If the AI has more fuel than on the plane, then cargo space is available. It will only take a partial load and fly back to your airport, and then it'll end up having to do the same flight twice, which will mess your schedule up. So you always have to look at how much fuel is on board the plane and how much cargo can you put in there based upon how much fuel is in there. So know your cargo loads in the beginning. Always look at your cargo, look at your plane and say, okay, the Chieftain can take a maximum cargo of X number because of the fuel that's on there right now. If you want, you can always lower the fuel down and decrease the range a little bit so that you can put more cargo on there. So just keep that in mind. Other than that, it's just a simple game of scheduling aircraft to go point A to point B to point A to point B to point C. So, and that's the way you can continue to do it. Then you can just go ahead and get more pilots, get more planes, and you can keep expanding out, and you never actually have to fly a flight. You can let the AI fly all the flights for you. Now, the AI are also set up in the game to wreck a lot. They're going to crash. They're going to tear your planes up. They're going to do a lot of damage to it. You got a leased aircraft. You got to keep it up and maintenance. You don't want them constantly wrecking your aircraft. Real quick, you can see all the jobs that I've assigned my pilot now. I hit the refresh button. You can see under that pilot, you can see all the jobs that are available for them and the order in which they're going to do it. So they're going to position out to this airport, drop off the cargo, fly over, pick up this load, fly over, drop it off, fly, pick this load up, fly it, drop it off, pick up this load, fly it. So that's the way they're going to do. So, and then over here on this, it can give you, this is their current status of what they're doing. It'll tell you the pilot, their location, what their status is, and an ETA on when they're going to finish it. You don't get ETAs for these jobs, only the current job that they're on, but that gives you an idea where they're at, how much longer it's going to be before they take a job. Don't get yourself scheduled too far in advance. You can get in trouble if you schedule yourself in too far in advance and you accidentally make a mistake where you didn't give them enough space on the plane for the quantity, and then all of a sudden they have to do a double flight, and then this one ends up being late because they did a double flight on this one. So be careful on how you schedule, but man, you can load up a lot of stuff. Our buddy Dave, he was loading pilots up with 6-8 jobs and having them fly overnight while he was asleep and making buku money. So it's pretty cool the way you can do this and the things that you can do with it. So that's the basics on how to lease a plane, hire a worker, and then get flying. Now the next thing you can do with pilots is you can train them. Let's say you go into the marketplace and Layla here is not qualified to fly any of the planes I want to do, but I'm going to go ahead and hire her anyways, because the next plane I'm going to buy is going to be maybe I want to buy another Chieftain and I want her to be able to fly it. So I'm going to go ahead and assign her to my home base. I'm going to go ahead and get her added into my crew because I'm going to go ahead and get her trained. And I'm going to go ahead and lease another aircraft. So I'm going to go under marketplace, aircraft. I'm going to come on down here to the exact same Chieftain. I'm going to lease a second one. So let's go ahead and lease that. Set it up for cargo. Use selected. And that lease should be done. There we go. Now, I need to get my pilot trained up to be able to fly that plane. She can't at this point, and so it's just sitting on the ground. So in order to train her, I have to come to my pilot, and I come over to pilot details, and under type rating, you'll see the things that she has. She's not qualified to fly the Chieftain. So in order to get her, I have to go to type rate training, select the aircraft that you want her to be type rated on, which is the Chieftain. It'll tell you the cost and how long it's going to take. It's going to take 0.5 days for her to train up to do that. So this time, in about a half a day, she's going to be trained up and ready to fly that plane. So that's how you get your pilots to where they can fly the aircraft that you want them to be able to fly. So she's also going to be able to fly a cargo master when I buy a cargo master later on down the road. But for now, we've got her scheduled. And wait, did I do the right one? Oops, I scheduled the wrong person to train for that. Wait, surely I didn't. Who did I schedule? I scheduled the other pilot, didn't I? Boy, I'm an idiot. Oh, no. Okay, that one is training. Okay. Making sure I was doing the right thing. All right, so now I've got a pilot training, and she's doing that. Pilots also come with skill points. You'll want to check your skill points. Skill points help them out with certain categories. They come with some base points already assigned, but then you also get some extra points that you can spend. If you look at their skill tree, you'll see that in maintenance, cheaper fuel prices, faster, cheaper repairs, lower condition before repair. All of these different trees, as they earn skill points, and it's based on the number of flights they do, I do believe. There's some confusion over that in the forums, but from what I've been reading, it's based upon the number of flights they do. They'll earn another skill point, and you can just start building up their skill tree so that they don't do as much damage to your aircraft, or they get more money for the jobs that they do, or whatever the factor is. Faster cargo loading, faster passenger boarding, higher passenger flight income. For me, it's things like they're better at handling the plane. I don't want them to do damage, so airmanship is a really good thing. Less landing damage, that's a real good one to put points into. Yes, I like that. I really don't care about how efficient you are after takeoff. I just don't want you damaging my aircraft when you land, which is the one thing I was going to talk about, damaging your aircraft. AI are programmed to damage your aircraft. They're going to do it. And right now they're programmed way too high to damage your aircraft. And even the developer admits that. Now, when you lease an aircraft or on any aircraft, you have the option to take insurance. I'm going to tell you right now, don't take any insurance out on AI aircraft. You can take it out on your personal aircraft or the plane that you're flying constantly. You can take insurance out on that, and that way if you screw up and you make a catastrophic mistake, you can repair it really cheap. It'll be like pennies on the dollar. Whereas if the AI damages an aircraft, they will never use the insurance. It's set up that way. The game does not allow the AI to use the insurance. And it's that way for a reason. The AI is set up to wreck the planes. They're going to wreck it, and they're going to wreck it on a consistent basis. And your insurance is set up to where if you use it more than 5 times, you're uninsurable anymore. So you don't want to use your insurance unless you absolutely have to do it. Let's say a full write-off on an airplane where it's become, so damaged it just doesn't even make sense to repair it. So you're going to want to, use the insurance at that point. You don't want to use your insurance unless you absolutely have to. And the only time I would use it is if it were me damaging the plane and it was so bad damage that it just cost a fortune to do it. You can fly these planes at 60%, 50%. I haven't gotten one under 50%, so I don't know under that. But at 50%, they'll still fly and they'll still handle very well. That may change down the road, but for right now, they fly pretty good. Insurance, waste of money, though, on your AI, because they're just going to whip out your credit card, and they're going to pay for the repairs on the spot with the credit card, and you're going to go to bed one night with $600,000 in the bank, and you're going to wake up in the morning with $200,000 in the bank and scratch your head and wonder, where did my cash go, only to find out that Sky had a catastrophic landing and spent $400,000 in repairs, and it's just part of the game. So be prepared for that. And the one thing that you need to be prepared for, a way to be prepared for that, is to start yourself up a factory. Factories are cash cows in this game. They are a way to make quick income really fast. The way a factory works is you bring in a commodity. That commodity is used to manufacture another commodity, which you can take and sell on the open market. If we go to jobs map, and commodities, and I click on my base airport here for KJKA, you're going to see that I'm going to have a list of commodities show up over here on the left. These are all kinds of different items that are available in the game. They have a value associated with them for that particular aircraft. Not all airports have commodities. Not all airports have the same commodities. So you kind of have to look around the map to see what is available. For instance, over here at KLVJ, if I click on it, come on, click on KLVJ. KLVJ has no commodities. KHOT does. KOHT's list of commodities is completely different than the list of commodities that I have. There's a lot of similar items in there, like air hauler CDs or something like that, but you can see that the list of items on there are a little bit different. Same thing if I come over to KTVI, there are no commodities there. Whereas if I go to KCDN, yep, there are no commodities there either. Let's drill back down into the map a little bit and see what we got locally that might have some commodities at it. I can show you. I really don't see anything over in this way. I've pretty much come to discover that named airports, like your major everyday airports, have commodities at them, but these little airports don't. All right, so none of these airports really have anything. But if I want to go to draw, if I come up here on the map and I click the draw airports button, it's going to draw all the airports in. And then I can really start looking at all these other airports and I can find other commodities as well. This is very useful for you to do when you get ready to start selling items that you've manufactured in your factory. It also is very helpful for you when you're looking for commodities that you need in your factory. So now that you understand where commodities are, I'm going to tell you how you use them. We go to factories. And for my particular location here at KJKA, I want to look through the commodities list and see what commodities are available here for me to work with, because I want to decide what I'm going to manufacture. One of the most lucrative things you can make are air hauler CDs. They take plastic to manufacture. It's one plastic manufactures 1 pound of CDs. So everything is in pounds in this game, okay? So it takes 1 pound of plastic to make 1 pound of CDs. How do I know what that is? If I come to the items database, it lists all the items for me. There are 3 tiers of items right now. Tier 1 are the items that are just common. They're either used to make other items or they're just common items that are available within the game that you can sell off. Tier 2 items are a little bit higher quality items. Usually you have to manufacture those items, and to find out how to manufacture them, you click on the name of it. I got the air hauler CDs clicked on. Here it gives me a description of it, and here it shows me what the components are to make that in a factory. It takes 1 plastic. Plastic is listed down here. It's also a tier 2 item, which means I can click on it. It will tell me that it's widely used in manufacturing, and it takes 2 chemicals to manufacture it. Automotive parts. Automotive parts take 2 machined parts to manufacture. It's like brake pads, gasket hoses, things like that. It takes 2 machine parts to manufacture. Other items that you can make cell phones. They take electronics, battery packs, glass, memory sticks. Again, if you want to get an idea of what an item takes, you just click on it. It will tell you down here in a window. You'll notice most of the items up here, when you click on the tier 1 items, they don't have any components to make them because they're either components to make or they're just general goods that you're going to haul around. Tier 3 items, right now there's nowhere you can really sell tier 3 items in the game. That is coming in the future, but you can see that they also are higher valued items, take more items to make those things, and they'll be used also for missions and stuff down the road as well. So, but that gives you the basic general on items, how to locate out, how to find out what it takes to make an item in a factory, and what those parts are. So what we're interested in today is automotive parts, because again, if we go back to cargo jobs, we go to the jobs map and we look at our airport, one of the things you'll notice is automotive parts can be sold at my airport. I also have machined parts available at my airport for purchase, which means everything I need to make the automotive parts is available at my airport, and I can turn around and sell them right at my airport. So I've got a cash cow sitting right there for me where I can buy 2 machine parts to make 1 automotive part, which I can sell for $206. So that means it costs me $100 to manufacture, and I can sell it for $106 of profit. So I'm going to open up a factory to make those automotive parts. To do that, I go to factories, I go to the factory tab, I go to open, select the base, which is going to be KJKA. I'm going to give it a name, and I'm just going to call this GS Automotive, right? I've got that set up. Now I have to tool the factory for the job that I want to do. In this case, I'm going to be making automotive parts. So I select that. Over to the side, it's going to tell me it's going to cost $102,000 just to make that factory. I don't have that money, so I can't open that factory up right now. If we go to the finances, you'll see that we're just about broke. We got $100,000 still, but what we can do is we can take out a loan to pay for that, and that's what we'll do. So let's go to where is loans at? Loans is in the marketplace, and because we're at 40%, we can take out a loan. So let's go ahead and take out a loan. We'll take out $320,000. That's what we can do right now. We'll take that loan out. Our monthly payment on that's going to be $2,933. So we've taken out our loan. I think we took out the loan. Did we take out the loan? Come on. Give me my money. Come on. Give me my money. There we go. All right. So now we've got some cash to work with. $428,000 is now in the bank. We took out our loan. Now our monthly overhead is up to $97,000. We've got to generate $97,000 a month just to keep afloat. That's going to be easy once we get this factory open. We'll go to the factory now. We're going to open that up. And again, I'm going to start this up the same way I did before. All right. GS-Automotive. And I'm going to select to make automotive parts. $102,000 just to tool the factory. That's fine. And I'm going to head and open that factory up. And it's almost instantaneous. Doesn't take long at all. And that's going to open our factory up immediately for us. There we go. That's been opened, and now we can start doing some manufacturing. So we've got to get some raw materials into that factory so that we can manufacture. We're going to go to jobs, passenger routes, jobs, commodities, and I'm going to go down here and buy some machine parts because the machine parts are what we need. It's $50 per part. We can buy a maximum of 2,520 parts, so we'll go ahead and buy. I'm going to click on the max button so it gives me the maximum amount, or I could highlight this and type any value in that I want, or I could use the little arrow keys and go up through there, which would be insane to try to do 2,000 at a time. I'm just going to hit the max number, buy all the parts that I can get, and we'll get started with this. So we'll go ahead and buy that. And it gives us where we want to store that. I can either move it straight to an airplane to fly it somewhere. I can put it in my base storage, which in order to get it in my warehouse, it needs to be in my base storage. So I'm going to go ahead and move that into base storage. Now, if I were buying these in an airport, like way out here in the middle of nowhere, and to fly them back to me, I would have them put onto the aircraft. But in this case, we're just going to have it put into our base storage. We'll go ahead and buy the items. And for some reason, my game's running a little bit slow, but it will go ahead and pop in here in just a second. There we go. That's been purchased. So now we've got our materials purchased for the factory. We'll go to factory, come back to it. We'll select GS Automotive. Down here at the bottom, you get your factory details. It tells you that it produces automotive parts, then it takes 2 machine parts. We move over to stock and manufacturing, and you can see right now there's nothing in here. That's because the parts we just purchased are stored at our aircraft hangar and not in the factory. So we need to ship those over to the factory. We come over here, we click the add ship stock. The machine parts are sitting in the airport. We want to move them into the factory. So we just say move to. It moves them into the factory. Hit OK, and now you see that I have machine parts quantity 2520, and I'm ready to go. All right, so now we need to start the manufacturing process. We click on manufacturer. I'm going to manufacture automotive parts. Now it takes 2 to make 1. So I've got 2,520 parts. So that's basically what, 1,260 parts that I can make. So we'll go ahead and set that up, 1,260, which means it takes 2,520. We'll add that into queue. We'll say yes. And the manufacturing process has begun. Now, it tells you the time that it takes. It takes about an hour to produce 100 units. And to make 1,000 units, it takes about 10 hours. So you can go off, leave, come back in a couple hours, and you'll have some items made. But every few minutes, you're going to see, if you're in the game and you're doing things, you're going to see a little pop-up window pop up over here on the side that is going to show you that some items have been made. We're going to mess around for a little bit in the game still, and there's periodically we're going to see a little thing pop up and say, oh, well, you've had items made. You've had some more items made. While that's doing that, what else can I talk to you about that I've figured out in the game? I think that's just about it right now. We're going to get into doing passenger service down the road. I don't want to really cover that. The one thing I will say about manufacturing, the one thing you need to be careful about right now, there's a bug in the game. It's supposed to be being fixed in the next patch. But if you were to buy 2,000 parts right now and manufacture those motors and or the machine parts, you manufacture those. If you bought another batch of machine parts and wanted to make some more automotive parts, if you came in here and added a second queue of manufacturing, there's a glitch in the game that will mess up and it will delete a lot of your product. So only queue up one set of manufacturing at a time. Be careful not to do too much. Otherwise you could run into a situation where all of a sudden that you're going to have a problem with losing inventory. I bought, in my first run, I bought like 1,000 looky, factory production complete. Now, that's a little misleading. My entire batch isn't complete. It's completed 10 of them. So 10 automotive parts have been completed. The whole process takes, like I said, it'll take about 20 hours to do all 200 or all 2,000 of these. Well, it's only 1,000, so it'll take 10 hours. It showed in the little thing. I just didn't pay attention to it. But only queue up one set of things. Like I said, I set up to do air hauler CDs, testing out the whole system one day. I bought 1,000 units of plastic. I started making my CDs. They started making. I bought another 1,000 units of plastic, set those up to make, and then I bought another 1,000 units of plastic, set those up to make. And at the end of the day, I only got like 1,000 units out of it because the game glitched out and just deleted all the rest of the stuff. So be careful on that. And the other thing I'll point out to you is on your commodity stock, one of the things that I'm sure will probably change down the road, but for right now, it's not an issue. It tells you right now that the max units you can buy is of machine parts is 2,520 items. Well, I just bought 2,520 items, right? So I shouldn't be able to purchase that because I just maxed out. That's a one-time purchase deal. I can go back in right now and purchase another 2,500 units of it. It's not going to stop me from buying those. And it's going to move them over to my base storage area for me. At the beginning, I thought, well, you can only buy that much stuff at maybe at a day or a week or something like that. No, it's just per purchase. So buy 2,500, put it in your aircraft, put it in your factory, then go back and buy yourself another 2,500 if you got the money for it. So that's one thing that you can do in the game. So don't get misled by that buy max. You can buy as much as you want. You can buy and sell as much as you want to. The prices here are for buy and sell. So the big thing you want to do is look around and find the best price for a particular item. Now, I just showed you how to do the machine parts because luckily I had all the items that I needed to manufacture at my base, as well as I can sell them at my base because I have the automotive parts here. So to sell, all I have to do is go to my factory, and just like putting materials into the factory, I've got to take these manufactured items out and put them back into the airport. So I come over, I click on the automotive parts. I'm going to move those from the factory over to the airbase. I select OK. Then if I come back to my commodities menu, go to jobs map, commodities, and I look at automotive parts. Now I've got 20 automotive parts that are available in my stock that I can sell. To sell it, all I have to do is click on that item for automotive parts and sell them. Wait a minute, why is it not letting me sell them? There we go. Now it's going to let me sell them. Sell automotive parts in my base area. I've got 20. I go ahead and select the max. It shows me I'm going to get $4,120 for that. I go ahead and sell it, and Moosey gets paid. So it's that pretty simple. That's the way you can sell from your base. Now, if I was making something that I couldn't sell at my base and I have to haul it somewhere else, for example, air hauler CDs. If I started up a base for air hauler CDs, which I've done in another operation, I've started up air hauler CDs. KLIT, which is up here in Arkansas at Little Rock, they pay $98 a pound for air hauler CDs. Well, at my base, if I open an air hauler a factory up to make those CDs, you'll see that I can buy plastic at my home base for $39 a pound. Keep in mind, it only takes one plastic to make 1 pound of CDs. So for $39, I can make the CDs. Then I can fly them up to Little Rock, and I can sell them in Little Rock and make $98 a pound on it. So that's $59 a pound in profit that I can make just for hauling CDs. So on another account that I have, I've got a CD factory making CDs here, and it manufactures up 2,000 CDs. I load them on a cargo master, take 2,000 CDs up here and sell them, and I make a couple $100,000 in profit. It's very nice. It's a very easy way to make money, and hauling 2,000 of your own CDs up here to make $58 profit per pound is much better than only hauling a load of CDs up and making $5,000 of somebody else's cargo. So having a factory is a nice cash cow, but there is a lot of management that's involved in it. For instance, on CDs, again, plastic is made for with chemicals. If you can find a place that has chemicals available, you can buy the chemicals cheaper than you can buy plastic. For instance, Dave's over here in Mesquite at Kilo Hotel Quebec Zulu, and at his particular base, he can buy chemicals. Chemicals for $8 a pound. That's pretty awesome. Remember, it takes 2 chemicals to make 1 plastic, so he's able to buy chemicals at $8 a pound. He buys 2 of them, that's $16. And then he can turn around and right over here in Fort Worth, he can fly that load of air hauler CDs over to, I believe it's KFTW here. One of these little north, oh no, it's KAFW. He can make his air hauler CDs over here for $16 overhead and turn around and sell them over here for $86. So he makes $70 profit from flying a set of CDs from here to here. $70 a pound he makes for that short little hop across Dallas. And he can do that basically every 20 hours. He can make a couple of thousand CDs up and pull in some big cash. So again, factories can be a cash cow and they're really cool. Do your homework, take a little time to get in here, go into the factories tab, go to items, study each of the items, study the tabs, study each of the items that is available. One of your most profitable things is pilot watches, and I'll give you a little tip. If you start an airport or you start a base in Houston, well, let me find this. Let's find Houston down here. Houston is a real big hack here. This is where I'm going to put a base in because KDWH it takes 6 components to make a pilot's watch. 5 of the components are at this airport. Plus, if you look, the pilot watches are sold here for $618. The items that it takes to make the pilot watches, if you just buy each individual items and don't even try to make them, if you buy the 6 items up, it costs you right around $300 to buy the items. So your profit per watch sold is $318 when you sell it in Houston. So if you open up if you opened up a base here at KDWH, you would have 5 of the items that you need. The only thing that you need to import is leather. So you could bring 2,000 pounds of leather into your base, buy the rest of the items, make 2,000 watches, turn around and sell them, and make $600,000 in profit without even flying a flight out of your airport. So do your homework, look around the map, search around, find out what materials are needed to make an item. Using your items database here. Then sit down with a pen and paper, go to your jobs map, go to your commodities, and then sit here with draw airports on and highlight every airport and just start searching around for commodities and seeing what commodities are where, what the prices are, and just kind of keep a note as to what it is available. And then that way you'll know where your best prices are on things. So if you do set up a factory, you'll know where to go to get the particular items that you need and pull them back to there. Also, look at your commodities before you pick a place for a base. Look at the commodities available at it, see what commodities are there and how that can benefit you down the road. So don't go blindly picking places. Well, I think a great place to put a base would be out here in the middle of Corpus Christi or somewhere. Pick that base based upon, is it going to be a good place for you as far as passenger service? Is it going to be a good place as far as connections to my pre-existing base? And what commodities are available at it? So do those little things. That'll help you out greatly. So that's about going to do it for today's video. I hope you guys found that interesting as far as how to hire work, how to take out a loan, how to lease an aircraft, how to put your pilot to work, and then of course factories, how you set up a factory, and how you get going. Hopefully that information will help you out a little bit. I'll go a little bit more in depth on these things down the road, but for now we'll just kind of get started with it, and I'll show you a little bit more about it down the road. So anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video today. I will catch you later with more air hauler coming up soon. Stay safe. Have a great day. Bye-bye. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you did, I hope you consider giving it a like, maybe even sharing it with your friends. It does help me out a tremendous amount and is greatly appreciated. Also, leave some comments down below. That's really the only way I can gauge if you guys are enjoying what's being put out. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you want daily notifications. I try to do a new video each and every day. Also, if you want to stay in touch with me and find out what's going on, our social links are down in the bottom left-hand corner. Twitter is where I usually announce schedule changes, live streams, and new video releases. Facebook's a great way to get in touch with me if you have any questions to ask. And of course, I am trying to get to 1,000 followers on Google+, which I know I'll probably be old and gray before that happens. But if you can jump over there and follow me, it would be super awesome. So if you like today's video, there's a whole lot more content on the channel. I hope you'll browse through it, find something to keep yourself entertained until the next video or live stream. Speaking of live streams, I try to do them nightly around 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. Until the next time, thanks again for watching. See you soon.